I had the very first iPad. It was chunky, with a thick bezel, a low-res screen and a slow processor. And I loved that thing so much. I was just amazed at how you could fit a computer into what is basically just a screen. Actually, I'm still amazed by that. And now, where every 3-year-old kid have their own iPad, that doesn't seem so special anymore. But I can guarantee you, the fact that they fit so much computing power into this thin 11-inch device is quite special. By now you should have heard all about the M1 iPad Pro. It's crazy fast. It's a beautiful piece of technology and it's exceptionally good with a Magic Keyboard. And yes, it is quite limited by iPadOS as it is right now. All the reviewers have basically touched upon these points, so I'm just gonna let you know why I bought this iPad. It's because I really wanted to. Alright, it's a bit more complicated than that, but I've always wanted to buy an iPad Pro ever since the first iPad Pro came out. I just never really had a reason to buy one. Maybe I still don't. But I've always been fascinated by technology, and the iPad Pro, the hardware at least, is a testament to how far we've come. We've got an all-screen device that looks great, that has insane computing power, without getting hot while still lasting a full day. We have quality of life stuff like Face ID, 120Hz screen, 4 stereo speakers, a wide-angle front-facing camera and a Thunderbolt port. And because of all this, it's just very, very fun to use. And maybe that's it. I'm going to do the same work on this as I was doing on my 13-inch MacBook Pro. The fact that I'm able to do that work on my iPad Pro is cool, but you might think it would be annoying to downgrade to an 11-inch screen. But the thing is, I actually prefer this. Not because I don't like screen real estate on a big screen, it's just because I love this screen size. This is just a more fun way to work. I can carry this little thing everywhere. The keyboard is fantastic to write on. The speediness of the M1 chip feels great, and it's even better with the 120Hz screen. Alright, I'm actually not able to do all the work I want to do on the iPad. Or maybe I could in theory. I'm working as a videographer for a company where we use Windows PCs and Premiere Pro, and we're all dependent on that workflow, so I can't really edit on the iPad. But that's not the iPad's fault. LumaFusion is a great app for editing, and please Apple, please release Final Cut Pro at this WWDC. Thank you. But besides editing, of course I also need to write a bunch. So for scripting and just plain emailing, schedule planning, task assignments and so on. For everything that isn't sitting at a desk editing, I'm able to do on a small 11-inch iPad that I can carry in my pocket. Okay, well, maybe not. One thing that impressed me though. The iPad Pro seems to be fully compatible with my CalDigit Thunderbolt 3 dock. Everything works with my screen and my audio interface with a microphone and audio out. And it even works with external monitor support in Jump Desktop, where I can use my PC at the office from home in full screen. Also, center stage is fun and will actually be great for meetings where we're more than 2 people sitting in front of the camera. That's really awkward on my MacBook Pro right now. But I can't really talk about the iPad Pro without mentioning that the software is behind. The most discussed thing is whether or not the iPad Pro should support macOS now that it shares the same chip as many Mac computers. I never think it will support macOS because iPadOS is basically already just a version of macOS optimized for touch. But it would be great if we had the opportunity to run actual Pro apps on a Pro device. And proper external screen support should be supported. Come on, Apple. Something that also bugs me a lot is that some web pages show as mobile versions. And as far as I can understand, it's because the web developers of the specific site have chosen to go for a responsive UI that changes based on screen size, no matter what device you're actually using. It really sucks being on a device with mouse and keyboard, maybe even hooked up to a 27-inch screen, and see a mobile website without being able to do anything about it. Also, mini review of the Magic Keyboard. This is the first script I've ever written on it, and it's really impressive how good it is. The iPad with the keyboard sits perfectly in my lap, there's no flex in the keyboard whatsoever, and the keys are great. It's not even that big of a deal that this is actually not a full-size keyboard. But please let me map the $ key as an escape button. I would love either having a function row for screen brightness, volume and so on, or a bigger touchpad. I feel like there's quite some space underneath the floating iPad where they could have used it for either of those things. The touchpad is good though. Also the keyboard is backlit. That's cool. This has been Melkon Esso and I am out.